Hey, today I wanted to do a little bonus video. I was actually given a code for Devil's Dare Deluxe from the developer. They actually remembered when I covered the original release on PC several years ago. Now, they really haven't changed much. This is mostly just, I guess you could call it a port or a remaster since it is on PS4 as well. I played through the whole game. I got the good ending. The biggest change, aside from it, being on other platforms, is that they did make it a little easier. There are some new references and stuff. Apparently, there was some issue with one of the characters being too close to one of the Rick and Morty characters. I don't know anything about that series, but the game is pretty much the same. Unfortunately, they didn't really add any new upgrades. That was the thing that I wanted the most, so that I could have like more builds, because you kind of see like most of the upgrades in a single run if you get all the way to the end. Unfortunately, they didn't really change that. But the little balance changes are nice. I actually asked them if they had any change logs. Apparently they didn't. So I have noticed some minor things, just the enemies seem to do a little less damage. They seem to take a little less damage as well. So there's a survival mode, which is, I think I've covered in the past. I'm going to keep this pretty short because I have already covered this game extensively. I played it a lot when it came out. See my this is my good ending file here. So you have casual, which disables the achievements. You have classic, and then expert, where you bet money. So I'm just gonna play on classic. So I have all the unlockable characters. I have the two Contra guys. But if you remember when I played this was definitely my favorite character because he has a dive kick and a good throw. He's like probably the closest to like a quintessential like standard beat 'em up character with the way that his crowd control works and things like that. So I'm just gonna play as him.
Let's show them what we can do.
So I'm going to go ahead and skip the tutorial, since I've already played this game quite a bit. I'll just explain things as I go. So the biggest thing with this port is that sometimes when you run and you use moves, the game does slow down quite a bit. I talked to the developers and I made like an unlisted video for them, and they said that they're going to send it to their programmer, but it doesn't really affect things too much. I think they just need to smooth out the performance a little bit, but the game works fine otherwise. I just finished the whole thing, so it's not like it's a big issue. You may notice it a little bit while I'm playing. One of the things they added in the final patch was the survival mode, and they added like a Roman cancel type move like this right here. You push R, you can either do a dodge cancel, or you can just Roman cancel and stop the recovery of your animations. It's actually pretty nice, since you can kind of combo one enemy, and then Roman cancel to keep them in hit stun, and sometimes the other zombies will run into it as well. You can get a massacre, which is what you use to get a lot of healing items and money.
Money makes the world go round. There will be a time we need it.
My biggest complaint with this game when it first came out was that it's just not enough variance for a roguelike. There's not enough build variety, and unfortunately that wasn't changed. I haven't noticed any new upgrades at all. I hope that the game will do well enough that they can actually expand on it, at least add a couple more upgrades, because I did get kind of bored playing this originally because I had already figured out like what the best builds were, and I got them like almost every run. I think that's probably the only real blemish on this game. I like how it has its own identity. I like how it's not just a straight copy of the Capcom beat 'em up. You know, it has like its own mechanics and things like that. But in terms of it being a permadeath roguelike, there's not enough like material replay value in terms of like different builds you can have, unlockables. But apparently this game had a really bad visibility problem on search engines, because whenever you'd search for it, you get the Marvel character Daredevil. So they changed it this time, and they seem to be getting quite a bit more attention, so hopefully it'll do well enough that they can expand and iterate on it later. It helps that this game actually works pretty well in a portable setting, because it auto-saves after every level. So even if you want to play something else, it's not really a big deal. You just get to the end of the level and you can just continue right back where you were. You know, the old days on like the PSP and stuff, some of those beat-em-up ports didn't really work too well, because there was no way to like stop playing and continue. But this game actually used pretty good foresight when it was first made, and that just carried over this version. Now, they did make it quite a bit easier. I don't remember exactly how much. It's been a long time since I've played this. I've 1cc'd this. I even did a pretty bad speed run for this back when it came out. And I could tell that they made it easier because I was able to 1cc this like without playing it for like 3 years. But they wanted to make it more accessible. I mean, obviously you make a permadeath like beat 'em up roguelike. It's gonna be kind of hard to get like 4 people together that can really play at a high level, so it makes sense. And they still have the expert mode if you want a challenge. The thing about this game is once you know how to break it, it's pretty easy. But if you try to play it like a regular beat 'em up, you're not going to have as many resources available, so you kind of have to play, you know, the way that the mechanics are intended. It's like I said, I think is one of this game's best traits. It has a lot of references and stuff, but it's its own entity, and I like that about it. Got the Iron Man proton cannon.
Fire the target. Watch your back. Fire the target. Fire the target.
Of course, when I say it's easy, I get bodied by this boss. Yeah, whatever. I haven't actually. He's actually a new boss that they added. So basically, what you want to do is you want to group up enemies and then finish them off with a super move. If you finish off more than 3 with a special or super move, it will give you healing items. So if you're really good at grouping enemies together, you can actually get a lot of healing items and more money. Like the dive kick upgrade is actually really good with him. Thankfully they did not nerf him. I don't like playing the other characters as much as I enjoy playing as him, so I'm pretty glad that he seems to be untouched. But like I said, they didn't even make a changelog for this, so it's only just little small things that I've noticed. There's no actual like list of things that were changed. So I'll go ahead and I'll show his dive kick upgrade, and then I'll sign off. Like Probably one of my favorite dive kicks in anything.
Just what I need.
You just dart around the screen and destroy everything. Put them in really long juggles.
Diving.
Like that.
Diving. Right. Diving. I go. There will be a time when we need it. Remember, money makes the world go round.
Alright, I'll go through this wave and that'll be it. It's pretty much the gist of what's changed. I already covered this game quite a bit when it came out, so I don't necessarily need to explain everything again, but I've already explained the gist of the mechanics. You want to see the move list? It's got things nicely explained here. Like this character has a throw, which is pretty much like a beat-em-up throw, except you can't walk up and grab somebody. You have to kind of close the distance, and then he goes to the grab animation. He has a teleport, which kind of makes you go backwards, so that can be useful for getting your massacre bonuses, or just escaping a situation, especially on some of the armored enemies. It can be really good to use that, because you can do damage and then get a safe distance away, because a lot of the big enemies will actually tech out of combos, and their burst does a lot of damage, so you want to be able to do the teleport and get out of there. You can't like infinite combo the bosses, so a lot of them will tech out. And then the dive kick I've already explained. Now they added this, I don't remember if this was in the original version, but they explained most of the things here. So you have a basic square string, you have a dodge, and if you hold the dodge you'll do a run. Here's your specials, which I just explained, and your SP. The special cancel is if you cancel one move into another, which Jackson is not terribly good at, then it will do more damage. But also, if you push forward and the dodge button, which is R or R1 if you're on PS4, you'll stand there and you'll do a roaming cancel. If you hold it, then you'll do a dodge cancel, so you can use both to both defend yourself and extend combos. And Super Joy is pretty standard stuff. It's just here, instead of it taking your health, since this is a permadeath roguelike, what it does is it puts your meter into overheat and you can't use any specials. Now, if you're near a bunch of SP items, little blue items, then you can pretty much get it back right away. So you want to make sure that you use Super Joy when you're getting staggered too much, if possible. And here's the fatality. Massacre is pretty much what I've been doing. You stun lock everybody, and then finish them all together, and you get a food bonus. At 3, you get the little meat bun, and at 5, you get the barbecue, which will pretty much fully heal you in both situations. So you want to make sure that you get your crowd control together, because that's how you're going to stay alive. It's not uncommon to have like tons of food items and money on the ground if you play really well, which I think is pretty cool. It definitely plays differently from other games. I hope that this does well enough that they'll be able to, you know, expand on this and add more items, that there's more build variety. That's definitely the biggest problem with this game. Is for a roguelike, it doesn't have enough to really make you come back. Aside from the characters, there's the extra paths that you can take, but you can't have like normal roguelike builds where you have like crazy ones sometimes and then other ones are a struggle, where you get like different combinations of items that make you play differently. You don't really have that luxury here. You only have a couple items to work with, so it's not uncommon to end up with very similar, if not near identical builds pretty much every time. I was kind of unfortunate that they weren't able to fix that, but who knows, maybe this will do really well since it is on the Switch, and indie games seem to be doing pretty well on the Switch. I'll definitely let you guys know if that changes. Anyway, that's pretty much it. The cash and the money is pretty much already explained. I'll catch you guys later. Peace.